Welcome to Peranakan Museum. My name is Kennie Ting. I'm the director of the Asian Civilisations Museum and Peranakan Museum. Together, we are Singapore's National Museum of Asian Antiquities and Decorative Art. Now please follow me in. Peranakan Museum is Singapore's Museum of Peranakan Culture and Heritage. What is Peranakan? It is a Malay word. It has as its root the word anak or child, so it means locally born or born here in the Malay-Indonesian world, the Malay and Indonesian-speaking parts of Southeast Asia. Now, there are many Peranakan communities in these parts. The most well-known are the Straits Chinese or the Baba Nyonya. They are Peranakan Chinese, and they are called Straits Chinese because they come from the former Straits settlement cities of Penang, Malacca, and Singapore. But there are other Peranakan communities. For example, the Peranakan Tionghoa or the Peranakan Chinese in what is today's Indonesia. There are the Chiti Malacca, who are Peranakan Indians. They are the Jawi Peranakan, who are Peranakan Indian Muslims. They are the Arab Peranakans, and they're also the Eurasian Peranakans. The museum is organized thematically, with each floor corresponding to one theme. On this floor, we explore the origins of Peranakan. Please follow me. Southeast Asia has long been a crossroads. For millennia, people and communities have come here to trade. Now, Peranakan is actually a very inclusive, welcoming sort of word that the local Malay Indonesian communities used to refer to other cultures and communities from the world who came here, who decided to sort of settle down and make this place their home, and who then, in the course of time, had their own culture blended with the local Malay Indonesian heritage and tradition. So when we say Peranakan, we're referring to these sort of hybrid, cross-cultural communities who have been in these parts of the world for a very long time. This gallery is the highlight of the ground floor. It presents hundreds of intimate portraits and family portraits that have been generously given or lent to the museum by Peranakan families and individuals in Singapore and in the region. Behind me also, you see that we've done video interviews with individuals from the Peranakan communities as to what Peranakan means to them and how they're sort of living through their heritage today. So what you'll get a sense of in this gallery is just how diverse and how rich Peranakan culture and heritage is. Now I'm going to take us all upstairs right now so you get a sense of the actual material objects that come from these Peranakan homes and families. The second floor of the museum explores the theme home, and primarily here we display furniture and furnishings, and we explore family and community life in Peranakan tradition. Now, the first thing you would see as you enter the family and community life galleries is what is known as a pintu pagar or door fence. This is a traditional kind of door that would have adorned the front of a Peranakan Chinese house. And it is in a sort of classic brown and gold style where you have gold leaf that's actually affixed to a carved brown color wooden base. And you can see that it's also very, very eclectic or hybrid stylistically. You have these Chinese elements like the lions. You have these sort of classical European elements, but the form itself actually comes from Malay tradition. This part of the second floor actually evokes a garden in a family home, and there are many more pieces of furniture that come from various family homes in Singapore and the region. But what I wanted to point out here was just the view across to the courtyard, to the pintu pagar we just saw. At Peranakan Museum, we pride ourselves on exhibition design, and a lot of effort went into designing every gallery and placing the objects so you would have this amazing visual experience. The last gallery on the second floor features ceramics and food culture. And here is where you encounter the classic Nyonya ware, which is a kind of Peranakan Chinese form porcelain. This is export ware. This is all made in China, commissioned by Peranakan Chinese families here, and then exported to this particular region. So there are many shapes and sizes and forms of Nyonya ware. And one thing that is very typical of this particular porcelain is how it is so maximalist. It bursts with color. It's got all kinds of auspicious motifs. It may have had influence from porcelain in the Qing dynasty, but also from European and Malay styles. Another highlight of the ceramics and food culture gallery, actually a star of the museum's collection, is the Yap Aloy Tok Panjang set. Now, Tok Panjang is a Baba Malay word that means long table, and it refers to this sort of traditional feast that you had on special occasions. And you see here all kinds of Nyonya ware bowls of different shapes and sizes. When you had a tok panjang, you could be eating some dishes with your hands and you could be eating others with knives and forks. So you could see that it's a very, very hybrid and eclectic style of eating, which combines both Chinese, Malay, and European. There's another piece that I thought very important to point out. It is this particular piece right here. Is a teapot that comes from the Alsagoff family, Arab Peranakan family in Singapore. And again, you see the sort of cross-cultural nature. Although they were Arab, you see this teapot here is in the European style, not just in terms of it being for English tea, but you see that the styles around the pot also draw from European tradition. I point this out to demonstrate just how diverse culturally the Peranakan community is. You know, aside from Peranakan Chinese, there were also the Peranakan Arabs and the Peranakan Indians and the Peranakan Eurasians. And to emphasize this point, we've also included in this gallery videos from chefs in all the Peranakan traditions talking about some of their favorite traditional foods. And with this, we conclude our stay on this floor. Let's go upstairs now to explore how Peranakans dressed themselves. As we head upstairs, let's take a pause and look at this amazing piece by contemporary artist Sam Low. The piece is called Coming Home because Sam has Peranakan heritage. In this piece, he very much wanted to explore aspects of his heritage. So you see the pieces here are actually traditional Chinese style lanterns, but there are sort of motifs and patterns on them that actually resonate with some of the themes across the museum. Now, it was very important for us here at the museum to also include contemporary expressions as a way to show that Peranakan culture is living and dynamic. The third floor galleries explore the theme of style. Here we feature textiles, fashion, and jewelry. And of course, the first thing we have to explain when we talk about style is batik. What is batik? It is a traditional textile with roots in Java in Indonesia, and it is vibrantly colored. It is made by what is known as the wax resist technique, where wax and dye are repeatedly used to get this sort of palette of extremely vibrant hues. Typically, it is used by women as a sarong or a sort of skirt cloth. Now, we're going to move on from batik to our gallery of decorative textiles, which is that way. Our decorative art textiles gallery actually spotlights all kinds of decorative textiles from the Nyonya tradition, in particular Nyonya embroidery and beadwork, which is a quintessential aspect of the tradition. So the highlight in this gallery is this piece right here, which is a beaded tablecloth. It is the largest of its kind, and it comes from Penang. Now this piece, as you can see, is actually very, very eclectic once again in terms of its style. When you first look at it, it looks actually very, very sort of Victorian British. You know, the roses, the birds, they come from the sort of British tradition at the time. But you can also see aspects of Chinese culture like butterflies and dragonflies. There were 1 million glass beads that were used to make this. We turned the corner into our jewelry gallery, which is one of the most striking galleries in the museum. It's a lot of gold and diamonds here. And the star piece in this gallery is the peacock belt. It is a very large ornamental belt. It's got 72 carats of diamonds on it. And it's called the peacock belt because you can see that there is a peacock motif on the front of it and also all around the belt. Now, a belt such as this would have been used to fasten the sarong that a Peranakan lady wears. So the interesting thing is, when you put on the belt, you would have the top of your skirt cloth and your blouse actually cover it. So nobody would have seen it. This was actually a piece of private luxury. The very last gallery I'll show you at the museum is our Fashion and Textiles gallery. This is my favorite gallery because it's designed to evoke the feel of boutique, so you feel like you're going shopping. You know, there's menswear, there's women's wear, there's shoes, there's bags, there's handkerchiefs and other accessories. The highlight of this gallery, however, is our showcase of kebaya, also known as sarong kebaya. This is traditional dress for Malay as well as Peranakan ladies in this part, and it consists of two very clear sort of parts. At the top, you have the kebaya, which is typically today made with a sort of slightly sheer cotton voile and also has sort of lace and embroidery on it. Now, the kebaya has no buttons, so you would have sort of fastened it together with the croissant that we saw earlier in the jewelry gallery. The kebaya is also typically paired with a sarong that is made of batik, which we encountered earlier as well. And these particular batiks are also somewhat in the Pekalongan style. Notice the sort of brightly hued colors and flowers. The Fashion and Textiles Gallery ends off with this showcase of contemporary takes on kebaya by designers who live and work in Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, India, and even further afield. And again, the point we try to make is that Peranakan is a living thing, and many designers today continue to be inspired by aspects of Peranakan culture and heritage.